in the past that got acquired by Walmart. And when I was a part of the Walmart group, I realized so much of our work while trying to build a brand ends up going in the busy work, the rote stuff, the hassles around content, creative, the ops, getting your brand listed, optimizing it. The way we build a brand in 2026 looks nothing like the way we will end up building in just about 5, 6 years ago. But you've heard all of these sentences already. So let's take a minute and walk through step by step on where Shopify, as well as a bunch of other AI advancements, are at right now. How can you guys start using it today? And where does the value lie in that entire ecosystem? So this is going to be super interactive. Feel free to, at any point of time, pause, ask any questions, sort of keep things coming my way. My goal is by the time you finish with this conversation, you know how to set up your store, make it AI native, try a bunch of things out, and the sky's the limit after that. Because once you're hooked to the concept, you're going to be doing a lot more of it from there. The very genesis of where most of these start from is something called the Shopify AI Toolkit. You guys must have heard of the Shopify AI Toolkit so far. What we are really trying to do is use AI from more than a tool. Think of it as a teammate. The first part that I want us to sort of take a look at here is how do we ensure that we go from thinking of, hey, can I generate an image on ChatGPT? Can I write descriptions on Claude? Could I use Grok in order to create a video? These are individual tools and what we are able to present out of them versus extend it. Let's start thinking it as teammates and what is possible across AI there per se. I do hope that I'm audible at this point of time. Hold on, maybe there's some hassles on.
You are audible.
We can hear
We're
you.
able to hear you. We can hear you.
Perfect. So just popping right back in so that I'm able to get this going. Okay, so the goal today is to start using AI as a teammate. So by the time we wrap this conversation, you guys are going to have the best AI teammates that you're able to do content with, use a skill, connect it to your store, get stuff done. So this is going to be no theory. There's an actual agenda on how we will do a live interactive workshop where we take a Shopify store, we then connect it using the AI toolkit that was launched by Shopify, explore more of every single feature that between as well as the Shopify AI toolkit we could cover, run a skill alongside the same. We'll talk more about what skills are, generate 1 to 100 pieces of content across any media, push it live back onto your stores, and end it with, if this is how stores are going to operate in the next 2 years, what does it mean for each of us building a brand as we take a look at the same? That is about it. But quick starters, how did we get here? Over the last 18 months, companies like Shopify, Anthropic, plenty more have been busy at work trying to make great tooling for AI. We started with something called the MCP. Shopify had a model context protocol. It's a little geeky, a little technical, a little hard to use, but it was the earliest signs of trying to use something between a store and code. After that, Shopify internally had something called Sidekick. Not sure if any of you had a chance to use Sidekick or Magic or any of the AI assistive services across the Shopify dashboard. It's a little hit or miss, but very exciting to see the way that the feature has been built out so far. But that's only one small feature inside the dashboard that is tucked away only when we need it, perhaps, as compared to reimagining a brand and a store with AI. That brings us to part 3, the most exciting release a few days ago, which was the AI Toolkit, where now, with developers and builders, you can connect any coding agent to your store. The AI Toolkit is probably their biggest launch and today's focus on how we're going to work this through. Everything from here is going to be recorded, as well as a playbook around 40 plus skills, Exactly how you go about this and start generating media, etc., is going to be provided through the end of the session as well. So you're going to be plenty rich with collateral as well as anything else that is needed alongside to make sure that your stores get this working. But why should your store care? Or why should you care? Because the AI toolkit makes any coding agent great for commerce. So far, over the last 2 years, we saw what AI coding made the whole job of a developer different. Today, I actually don't write as much code, or if not any code right now. I simply review what AI writes for me. I then hit accept on the right code changes that I think is useful for the program or the piece of software that I'm building. Now, imagine a world where AI is able to do all of that for your brand. It's going to build your Shopify pages, keep them updated. It's going to optimize them for both SEO and GEO. GEO being visibility across ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, anything that is indexing the web as an AI answer engine. It can generate infinite media of your products, any pose, any format, any shape, any background, any video across emails, store listings, PDP, promotional pieces of content that you are running performance ads on, and pull and push anything to the store at any point of time, which is a lot, right? Now, how do you take a lot of these capabilities and bring that back to something that works from today? With that, let's get started with a direct hands-on session where we all get to connect our stores and potentially start trying out how Claude and Shopify is a very weird but fun world of experimentation that we've all been in a rabbit hole on. Trust me, none of us have gotten more than a couple of hours of sleep over the last 3 days. So we've lined up a number of things in order to show you guys. Let's take a minute and start connecting the store to get this process started. This is super interesting for me to take a pause on. I have Adarsh, who has been building across like the e-commerce stack for many years now. So Adarsh, why don't you take it over and show us all how we can go from a non-AI store to an AI store pretty quickly.
Thank you, Sai. Hello, everyone. I'll just go ahead and share my screen. At any point, if you guys have any questions or you think I'm going too fast, please feel free to like put your message in the chat or raise your hands, and we'll be happy to stop and answer your question. So here are the list of things we are going to do right now. And as we move from step 1 to step 16, what we'll have is we'll be able to just ask AI or Claude Code or whatever AI agent we are using to, in plain English, to make changes to our store or our Shopify store. And it will just do that for us. And we'll see that live in action right now. So the first step over here is to use AI Toolkit, we need some sort of coding agent. You can use Cursor, you can use VS Code, you can use Claude Code. For this particular demo, we are going to use Claude Code. So let's start with the basics. Let's say you don't have Claude Code right now, and you're just starting fresh. I'm on a Mac right now. We'll be sharing all of these links with you, so you can read through and do it yourself as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a terminal window of mine. You can just easily find a terminal on your Mac or your Windows laptop and any OS you're using. And I'll just zoom in a bit so that it's easier to read. So first step to get Claude Code installed on your machine is just head over to this website, copy the command from here, and just come back to the terminal, paste it, hit enter. It's that easy. And the rest will be taken care by the script itself. It will install Claude Code. It will set it up for you so that we can go ahead, connect our AI toolkit with Claude Code and give it the capabilities to manage our store. So let's wait for this to happen. Okay, so we can see that Claude Code was installed. You would need a subscription with Claude Code in order to do this. Again, you can use Cursor, Claude Code, Codex, whichever is your choice of coding agent. Once this is done, I'll go ahead. I have a folder over here in which I'll be running my Claude Code session. So you can create this folder to have your images, to have your CSV files and everything, whatever data you want the coding agent or the AI to have for this session. So let me just go ahead and drag it here. And okay, so now I'm in the folder. I'm starting fresh. I do not have AI toolkit set up, nothing. What I'll do is I'll just go ahead and simply type Claude over here. Once I do that, it'll ask me permission to be able to read and write from this particular folder. I go ahead and give it the permission. The session is started. Now, once you have your Claude set up, the first thing that we want to do is we need Shopify CLI. So instead of installing it this way, we are going to let Claude do it for us. From here onwards, we are not going to write any bit of commands, any code or anything. We are just going to ask Claude to do it for us and see how it helps us achieve it. So I'll head over to this website. This is the official documentation for the AI toolkit. The first thing we do is come to the section for install a plugin. Now we have option to install it with Claude Code, Cursor, Gemini. So whatever you're using, it's just a couple of commands, and you will be able to connect your Claude Code with the AI toolkit. So I'll just copy this command over here, come back to my terminal, and just paste it over here in my Claude Code. Now what this is going to do is how on Shopify we have plugins where you can plug in a review application, something to generate images, or any plugin you add on your Shopify store. Similarly, we can add plugins onto our Claude Code. So we'll go ahead and we'll add this AI Toolkit plugin, which was released by Shopify a couple of days back. Once I do this, it will go ahead and install it. Once the marketplace is added, there is just one more copy paste we have to do. That is this. This will install the specific plugin for us from this Shopify AI Toolkit marketplace, which will help us utilize the AI Toolkit via our Claude agent. I'll go ahead. It will ask me a bunch of questions. Where do I want to install this? Do I want to install it just for myself or all the users? So you can go ahead and choose as per your preference. I am going to set it to only work in this particular project folder. Once I do that, this is ready. All I have to do is it is asking me to reload my plugins so that it can utilize it. I'm just going to copy it over here, paste it, and that's it. Now, my Claude Code has capabilities to talk to Shopify. But again, because it has to work with our store, what we have to do is we have to allow it to log in. We have to allow it to get access to our store. How do we do that? So this AI toolkit works with Shopify CLI. This has been there for a while in the market, and the developers use this for development or to make changes to the store via code. But now with this AI toolkit, we don't have to write any code. We just allow our Claude to utilize it and do it for us. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit a /. As I start typing, you'll see I have a bunch of commands over here or bunch of plugins over here for Shopify itself. I'll just go ahead and type Shopify merchant. And this workflow will be enabled. What is the workflow essentially? Workflow or this plugin will give you step-by-step instruction on how do you proceed. So even if you're starting from zero, it will tell you what to do next and how to proceed. So once I've enabled this, it will ask me permissions before it does anything, which is also important, right? If we just let it do everything itself, it can just go ahead, change a bunch of things we wouldn't want. So that is sorted here. Before doing anything, it will ask us to approve it. It will always give you the instructions in plain English over here. You can read through it and you can just go ahead and allow it to do so. Once we start with this, this will essentially help me set up and connect my store with Claude now. Now, as I said, we wanted to set up Shopify CLI, which is not there on our machine right now. So Claude is now first checking if we have Shopify CLI or not. So the step one, it is going to just check if we have Shopify CLI on our machine. If not, it is going to install it for us. I go ahead, hit enter. It will walk me through what it's doing and ask me for permissions before doing anything. So now you can see that there's running bunch of commands to set up Shopify CLI on my machine. I hope you all are with me. At any point, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. I would be happy to answer. Okay.
It's a
So
tad technical, but we are working on making all of this a one-click setup process away so that each one of us is able to have a much simpler interface where it's as easy as logging in, taking a look at a graphical interface in order to make all of this happen. But given this feature is as early as like 48 hours old, the best way to access it today is via a command line interface like this. I understand it's not intuitive for us as brand owners. I understand it's not easy for us in order to take a look at. However, making this easier is something that we need to do on one side. It is a confusing flow, as Shiba mentioned here. It does require coding experience. It does require someone in order to be aware of CLI tools to get started. But within 2 weeks from now, what we are planning to roll out is a much, much easier way in order to take a look at how this entire thing flows as well. In fact, I have a small surprise for you that I'm going to go ad hoc on and show you how something like this can be set up with as well. Let me probably take a minute in order to show you what is potentially coming up, which is like a small sneak peek. This ain't ready yet, but it's going to be pretty easy in order for you to take a look at as well. Just so that we look at how much easier it's going to be in like a couple of weeks from now. So what you have here is a world where you can potentially pop into a tab called agents. And what this does is a one-click installation of every single agent that is useful for your store that is going to be done automatically. So almost like a team of agents for you. We're still building these out right now as we speak. And all you then need to do is like the way Adarsh had mentioned how to set a store up. You set the store, you allow your agents to read across your ads and analytics. All the data continues to belong to you and only you. None of it is used in order to train or sort of utilize in any other manner except for making your store and your use cases better. So you've got AI models on one side, Claude specifically, as well as your data on the other side, and any actions that you want to take. All that this is presenting to you is all of the developer centric things that you just saw are going to be made into a much simpler user interface like this, where you can just go ahead and try continuing, and you can now have a bunch of agents. Things that need your attention are going to pop right in here. So anything that the agent notices your store is like going bad on, hey, I notice your creatives are stale. I notice that you have a lot of abandoned carts that are present over the last 3 days. Looks like your competitor is running a much better offer as compared to you guys. Anything and everything can be set up here alongside a bunch of agents that you have present in. For example, I could set up a Shopify store manager where you're able to monitor sentiment, you're able to deploy A/B tests, test out any content that's presented. All I need to do is connect my store and I'm good to go. This is being built out as we speak, but you should have access to this super soon. So you can go ahead, rename this to any anybody in your own company. Ideally, we want you to now work with a group of 10 interns, and all the 10 interns are going to be the ones that show up here into a beautiful looking dashboard, as well as a Kanban from there, where you can go ahead and create agentic tasks and jobs, and you let them do it every day. So every day in the morning, you can have a report that is generated for you. Every day in the evening, you can look at your performance ads and see whether they are all holding up well. You have a 24/7 team that at all points can be taking care of what your store is. This is being built. I can't wait to show you a little bit more of this over a duration of time. Back to you, Adarsh.
awesome. Um, Sai, would you like to address some of the questions in the chat before we continue?
For sure. Regards to data privacy, AI toolkit, and Claude. For, I suspect if you're on Shopify already, Melanie, like there's a chance that Shopify has access to all of your data right now as we speak. Typically, a company like Shopify has not trained upon the user data or the store data just yet. So I would like to believe that's going to stay. When the data gets passed on to Anthropic or Claude in this case, those companies do tend to train upon user data that is presented across to them. So as long as there are no third parties between this, between Shopify and Anthropic, Shopify already has access to your data, assuming you're a merchant there. While Anthropic, when you are querying or using AI at any point of time, will have access and in turn use that data to most likely train things on top of. Typically, how this is going to work. Diana says, email when this is available. Absolutely. Like others tried to make this as simple as possible. The simplest stack is still about 16 steps in order to be presented there. Now, ideally, it can get simpler, which is sort of why we are building much of this into a user interface that is useful. To Pratik's question, a wrapper around Shopify Toolkit, yes and no. Think of it like if AI Toolkit meets OpenClaw, Pratik, where on one side we had through the months of January and February the entire hype cycle around OpenClaw, and we all loved the way OpenClaw was able to set up agents for us, let agents run 24/7, report back to us at any point of time. While AI Toolkit lets us take a Shopify store and connect it to any AI agent that is present in it. It could be Claude Code, Codex. The problem is all of these tools, including the one Adarsh is showing you guys, is still quite technical. So how do we take the best of both worlds and bring them together? It's as much as it is each one of them individually could be a wrapper, but there's a lot of scaffolding that you perhaps have to figure out in terms of the user experience, the way that the features are presented to the store manager, the quality of the outputs that are present in, and how you're able to work things through in terms of getting it live back into the store from there. And to Maria's point, Codex works perfectly well with this, a little more complex than even Claude Code. So, which is why Adarsh was using Claude Code as an example for today. Louis is requesting for ads management. I can't wait to show you a bunch of skills as well as ways that we have been using performance advertising as like a core use case in order for us to work on, where now we're able to run 500 tests in parallel with minimal budgets, ensure that we're able to pick the winners and scale things through from there. Ads management is probably one of the single most important areas that we're focusing on. Can't wait to show you some of the possibilities around the same as well. With that, costs on the tool depend. Like tokens are usually around how many agents you have running, how frequently are they running, and how often do you want these pieces of media like images, videos, or new Shopify pages to be built out. You can roughly think of the cost as anywhere between $20 to $200 on a realistic level. If you're a brand that's like significantly larger on the mid-market side, making more than about 200 to $500 million of GMV, the chances are you're going to be spending about $1,000 to $2,000. Still significantly lower than agencies and moving 10 times as faster as a part of that proposition, which is in turn where the excitement pops in from. That should be a quick fire round of questions. Please keep them coming, folks. I truly am grateful for the fact that we're able to have such a fun conversation around this. Back to you, Adarsh. Why don't we go about a few more pieces and show what is really possible with the store, and then take more questions and go through some more demos.
Awesome. Okay, so now we are at this point. We asked it to onboard us as a merchant. We asked Claude Code to do that, and now it is asking us, suggesting us next steps. And now what we want to do is connect our Shopify store with Claude Code. It is giving us two options. One is, do we want to create a new store? Or two, do we have an existing store? I'm just going ahead and sending two to Claude Code. So I already have a store set up over here. If you see, it's a demo store with a bunch of random products over here. And some products are done well. Some have assets on it. Some have good descriptions, but some are really bad. So what I'm going to do is link this particular Shopify store of mine, and we are going to perform certain actions on the store and improve our products. So I asked it that, okay, it's an existing store. It is again asking me or suggesting me a bunch of steps that we'll perform to get an idea about my existing store. Okay. So now, as we asked it to connect to our existing store, there's asking it to perform a particular step over here, so that it can get access to our store and we can link our Claude code to our store. So I'm just going to copy this from here and paste it here, hit enter. And now this will basically open my browser and basically help me connect my store with the Claude code. Just one moment. Okay. So once that is done, we ask it to go ahead and continue.
The crazy thing about command line interfaces is how hard they are to keep up with. So I completely understand if each of you feels a little inundated by how much information is being shown on screen right there. Others, maybe if it's possible, you should like blow up the screen size to as big as you can in order to take a look at it as well.
Yes.
There's a lot of text that's going in there, and
Will
welcome to the world of coding tools, because this is truly how any workflow ends up going there. Of course, it'll become easier, it'll become more graphical, more intuitive, probably a week or two away from that, and can't wait. If any of you is interested in early access to something like that, like a super simple way to do everything that is mentioned here, very happy to set you up with that after the call as well.
So now, as you see, like it's tried a couple of things and it is failing. So now it is suggesting me alternatives. It is just saying to give it the store URL so that it can help us do the same thing. So I head to my Shopify store. I go to settings. I have my Shopify store URL over here, which ends with myshopify.com. I just copy it, come back, give it my store URL. In just one moment. Okay, so it is running into a few issues with the Shopify setup. So I'm going to quickly solve that. Um, because you will have a fresh session with it, you won't run into these issues. But because I have multiple store connected, um, it is asking me to fix it. So just give me a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, I think Sai, you can take questions
Yep.
and yeah.
Let's take a minute while that auth piece is sort of being put thing like sort of figured out, in order to take a look at a very interesting topic that we have as skills. So as soon as the store is authenticated and presented in, which is the connect part, we're going to be showing you two things in order to make use of the same. The first part is you can command your store to do anything. I'll actually break it down into 6 interesting commands that we have tried so far that seem to be working well. Part one, you can diagnose your store onto any actions or fixes that it requires, either by looking at your competitors, looking at reference stores, or finding ways in order to import that code. Any feature that you wouldn't have brought to life on your store. Maybe a new marketing page that you wanted to build out, a promotional microsite that you wanted to put together, or big edits to your PDP. Each of these is now a natural language query away, where you're able to describe and see it come to life. Second, you can now have an analyst available to you at any point of time, not just about your store, but all of your competitors as well. You can fetch product information from your own store, understand how your competitors are doing with their stores, and most importantly, start running this on a schedule. So far, I have actually set up a whole schedule for myself, which I'll probably show you in a second here, where brands that did not use AI will typically have a schedule like this. We all wake up in the morning, we take a look at our products, we brief the agencies that we work with, we wait for some creative outputs to come back, we then update the store either with another agency or ourselves. We then send across any collateral that we wanted to our customers so that they recognize that we've put in some work. We go back and take a look at what's not worked over the last week. This is typically how I have seen a bunch of my friends who are operating brands which are doing anywhere between 20 to $90 million so far as their average day. Here's the same user flow with AI, an AI toolkit that is set up for you. You're going to start the day, but the first thing that you're going to see is AI has automatically generated new product descriptions, optimized it for like a Gen Z style of lifestyle imagery and creatives. This entire presentation that you see here was generated through AI. So the quality of what we've been able to make so far in has become significantly better. So you're able to start with new ad creatives, new AI generations, new imagery, and all of that gets pushed live onto your store either as an A/B test or directly on production via the Shopify CLI. You're then within the same hour able to look at your competitors and see if your SKUs have the right pricing as well as the right information that is present out with them. Within the next hour, there is an automatic email campaign, a WhatsApp retargeting piece, an abandoned cart notification, as well as anything that you want to set up across your Clavios as well, generated, drafted, and presented for you. By the time you're in the first 2 hours done with your day, your entire store is optimized and good to go, which means you get literally 8 to 7 hours back every day in order to ideate better, think about how you're going to reach out to your customers in more novel ways, and all of the grunt work behind the product is taken care of. But what's taking care of that? We've got commands, we've got skills, which are repeatable commands stored in a markdown file. A little bear with me, but we'll make this very easy for you to take a look at as well. You can use different skills. Think of each person in the in your AI team like a teammate. Every teammate has a bunch of skills that you're able to use. So if one of my teammates is going to be a creative director, I can use the skill of the creative director in order to check the brand voice and tone, if everything in my page is adhering to the voice and tone. If I have a catalog manager as an agent that I've set up, I could use skills such as generate better imagery for me, compare and contrast my ads with my competitor, and copy those ads in order to show me how my own ads look like. If I would require something that is a lot closer to SEO and GEO, I'd have an agent built for that. The agent uses the skill in order to bring that to life, which means that on one side, you've got Shopify AI Toolkit. You then have to build agents on top of the same. You'll have to give a bunch of skills to these agents in order to make them useful. And the agent has to have the right permissions to push this data either back to you or even better, back to the store. So you connect the store, you can generate any imagery that is present as well. And we'll show you workflows on how to generate any sort of images that you want or videos that you want. Media as a pipeline has become so much better. So you could do cataloging, creatives, jumbotron images, ads, videos of your products. And you can now get to a point where you download and push that data directly into AI Toolkit so that your Shopify store runs all of this at scale. This is for the first time you can now set up these agentic systems that are presenting. It's still complex. It's still got a few moving parts in and around, but it will get easier. And our job is to potentially make it as easy as it can be, so that we are able to onboard every single person into the what is possible across a store like this. So the whole advantage is once you set it up, I'm with you that it's a little hard, but once you do set it up, your store can run while you're sleeping. So you get restock alerts that are present in at 2 a.m. if your store is doing really well, or across the night. Every evening, you now have like 10 interns that are looking at your store and making sure that everything that is diagnostically fixable across your store in the images, the videos, the creatives, the ads, listening to your competitors, looking at your cart flows, anything that can be optimized further is all presented to you. You know what this reminds me of? An air traffic controller. You are literally going to be directing traffic around while your agents do much of the job and show you drafts. So, gone are the days when you need to be ideating, presenting the draft, looking at your ICP, understanding what they would like, and then coming up with some concepts, then reviewing the concept with two agencies, having them come back to you with a creative output that is maybe middling, going back on an iterative loop with them, then getting it live to your customers. The entire process, at least for me, used to take me anywhere between 10. Now that collapses into like one overnight agentic run, which costs you like probably $5 to $10 in terms of tokens and compute, that gets all of this ready, up, and running. So this is really what brands want. At least we've so far generated over 2 million pieces of media for the brands that we work with. And the one thing that brands have wanted is this is all complex. Please give me the outcomes. Don't give me more tools. This is potentially a very exciting thing that I do want to talk to you guys about. Where, how do you get to the outcome? Because all I'm showing you are the tools. But before I get here, we should check out a little bit more of the tool to look at how powerful these tools have become before we look at the outcomes from there. Over to Adarsh in
Thanks.
order to
Yeah,
potentially go through some of that as well.
yeah, we are ready. Um, okay. Sorry for the hiccup here. So if you see, it did make mistakes. It was not able to do that. But think of it like another human, right? It makes a mistake. You keep asking it to try again and again, and eventually it does figure it out. So I kept asking it to try this. I told it that I'm getting this particular issue. I'm not able to log in. Then it tried a bunch of things, and it was able to do that. Now it gives me a couple of options that do we want it to only read from our store and just read the data and tell us about what's going on with my store? Do I want complete management of my store? Or we can just define that, okay, I want you to specifically target this area. I only want you to target SEO. I only want you to target, um, let's say, asset management or images, which we have on the product, um, and so on. So I asked it to get the read-only explorer. It went ahead and what it did is it opened a browser for me. It said that a browser will open and I have to give a consent so that it can read that data. So over here, if you'll see, it is going to try to install an application. It will give you details about what this application is going to do. This is the official Shopify app, which you'll install on your store, and it will be able to read data from your store. So once I click install, this should be done. Let's ask it to retry it. Okay. So this is done. Now it will detect that we have given it the consent and the permissions to read from our store. When we come back, it will give us some information about our store. It will run a test query to actually see if it has details of my store or not. So see, once it was connected, it was able to get the name of my store, and it is a preview plan. It's a demo store. Now we can ask it to do a bunch of things. So to get started with, it is asking if we want to explore the store, work on a specific task, or build something. So we have a specific workflow in mind, which we are going to try now. If you see on my product, on my store, I have this particular product, Adidas Samba OG. I have a bunch of images over here, but I think I want another image where there is a model wearing it, right? So what I'll do is I'll copy this product link. I'll go back to Claude. I'll give it this link and I'll be like, I want to add a new image to this product. And I can even specify where do I want it. Do I want it in the first position, last position? So let's say I want it in the first position, So what it will now do, it will fetch the product and it will check the current state of the product. Now we have already given it the access, and now it is suggesting that we asked it to only read data from our store. But now it requires to write as well because it wants to upload an image or add an image. So we ask it to go ahead and take the permission. So if I do A, that is approve scope upgrade, so it can write to my store as well. It will now again open my browser. It will ask me to update the permission. Once I do that, it comes back. Now it has the permissions to write to my store as well. Now it can update the products on my store. Now I'm at this point where it is asking for the image. I don't have an image right now. And if I want to do it normally, I will give this image, it will go for a production photo shoot. We'll get that image and it takes a lot of time, right? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to open this image in a new tab. I'll download this image. Let's save it to the downloads. And I'm going to head over to the ShopOS application. Why? Because it's just easy. I don't have to go to any other AI tool, type prompts, ask it to do something for me. Here we have like bunch of templates, bunch of spaces. These are like ready to go workflows for you. I'm going to use the most popular one, that is lifestyle product shot. I go ahead, I upload the shoe image I downloaded. And once it is uploaded, I go next. It will ask me if I want a particular character. So there is a predefined library. I can choose any model from here. Let's say I choose this, go ahead. I can select a background. In which background do I want my shoe or the lifestyle shot to be? Let's go ahead and select this. Once that is done, I can select in what format do I want my image. If I want it in a specific aspect ratio, if I want it for, let's say, Instagram, or if I wanted to just put it on the store, we can choose it accordingly. I can choose how many images do I want to generate. Let's go ahead with one. Here you can select the quality of generation. So we have Ultra and Pro. Let's go ahead with Pro. Why? Because it's faster and it's good for the demo. But you can always choose to go ahead with Ultra if you want higher accuracy with your product, with facial details, skin texture, and your product details itself. So let's go ahead. I'll hit generate. And now it will take some time and it will generate an image for me, which I can upload to my store. Again, right now it seems a lot. Some things I'm doing here in the terminal, some things I'm doing over here. But in a week, you will be able to do all of this with a couple of clicks right over here. Let's give it a couple of minutes to generate.
Now, one of the things you must have noticed is as soon as Adarsh started off with showcasing how media can be generated, we actually used something called a space, a dedicated workflow that made it easy and, like you notice, very visual in order for you to generate what you want. We've actually ended up building over 100 workflows or spaces in order for you to take a look at as well. So if you go on to the spaces tab, we've gone from Indian saris to jewelry to fashion and electronics and built dedicated spaces that get the job done. These are purpose defined point tools that deliver value exactly to the areas that you might find value from on any piece of media. It can be as simple as removing the background and changing something out, to as complex as having a user generated review video where you're able to have someone holding your product and talking more about it. And all of that could be AI generated as well. On the other side, we also have tens of thousands of templates in order for you to get started from. So if you require inspiration for any product line that you have, this ranges from sneakers to home and furniture and fashion. You have ready to use templates that are both videos as well as images that you simply click on, and it then starts out with a super simple interface where you're able to add your own product, go ahead and change it to where you must. So if you, and all of this too started in command line interfaces, as we notice. From there, it takes another bit of effort in order to bring it to a super simple user interface like the one you see here. And you should have access to even the Shopify AI Toolkit in the same interface that you're watching here within the next couple of weeks. And if you notice, the quality of outputs that you'd get from there are usually stunning. Over to you, Adarsh.
Okay, awesome. And now that I have this image generated, let's just go ahead, download it. And once that is downloaded, if I open my Claude, so it is asking me to upload this image in a folder so that it can find it. Now I'll just go ahead, open this folder where my tool is running, and I'll just drop this image here. And all I'm going to do is tell it the image is in images folder. And it is asking me if I still want the position as one. I'll be like, yes, first position. So that's it. Now what it will do is it will understand the image. It will find the image on my machine, and it will be able to upload this to the store. So let's just look at it, plan things, and do it while we just allow it with permissions. So it found the image. Now you might be thinking like, I have already have the image. Why don't I just go to Shopify and it takes like 2 minutes. I do this every day. I just upload this image. But imagine you have like hundreds of products on your store, right? And you have um, a festival coming up. Let's say you have Christmas coming up. So you can just go ahead, ask your agent to add one image, update all your products to have one Christmas themed image as well. So there, you just have to type it and forget about it. It will handle all of this for you. While all you do is just approve, and you don't have to like edit all the images, create new images for each product. And while for one product it seems very time consuming, but when you're doing this every day, I think it just makes it easy to do the same thing. So it is trying to find the product. It already found the product. It says it has 3 images already, and it wants to now upload it to the Shopify store. So we allow it the permission so that it can upload the image onto the Shopify store. I'll keep it open here. So as and when it uploads the images, we can see it here.
And this is also something that we're referring to as the night shift. Just making this for one product is a bit of a flow, but once you got it set up, imagine every single one of your products has new descriptions, new imagery, comparative pricing, great advertising, all of the 10, 15 agents that we just called out, working parallelly behind the scenes 24/7 in order to just keep hyper optimizing your store to where it is to be. That in turn becomes like the real value. While we can show it for one product here, which is itself complex, imagine doing it for 100, 1,000. We today handle like over 50,000 products on a month. So that's really where the problem becomes very interesting for us to go after. And that and if any of you is working on problems similar, I have something super exciting to mention as a part of that as well.
So now you see it has already uploaded the image to my product page. And all it's going to do now is reorder this and make sure that this is on the first position. So it's saying media is ready. It's on the last position. It's going to reorder it now.
Others, you might want to also mention about how to reverse an action or undo something if something goes wrong as a part of it as well. I know we are like only about 5 minutes to go, but I think even one of the fears that all of us would have is what if there's an action that we are not too keen on having, and how do we roll back on the same tool?
Right. So I think Sai, one of the disadvantages actually of using this is sometimes when you just allow permissions, it will just go ahead and do stuff. And all you can do is ask it to undo it and trust it to change it back to what it was. And I think that is also something we are solving for by introducing like backups. So every action you do on the store, you can just revert it whenever you want. But as of now, let's say if you want to undo something, you just have to ask it that, okay, I don't want this image, remove it, and it will just go ahead and do that for you. You have to talk to it and it'll do. I think there are some basic things in place that it asks you for the permissions, but once you approve it, it's going to do that. And it's a bit of headache if you approve something that you didn't actually want to do it.
So there are two things here, Lois, for us to build out. The first part is great versioning so that every action that is present in is reviewable, approved or auto-approved, and you can undo or bring that back in. Version control on Shopify stores in itself is something that we're building out. You do not get that out of the box right now on AI Toolkit just yet. On the second side, we're also working on brand memory. AI Toolkit or Claude Code has no clue about your brand's specific styles, aesthetics, visuals, tonality, sound and voice, your customer personas, and everything that is to be with it. So, in turn, we are building out memory as well as version control so that it makes it really simple in order for you to do a bunch of tasks through from here. As soon as you have set up your store and made it AI Toolkit compatible and connected it to a coding agent, it could be Claude Code, Codex, or ShopOS, a much simpler visual interface in order to be presented out. You could also use a lot of skills that are present in. So skills, as we mentioned, are repeatable, reusable pieces of in-depth information, either about your store or an action on your store that you could put through. Others, why don't you show a few skills, but we might probably use another session in order to run them as well. And I do want to pause at that point in order to have something that we can set up for every store owner here and spend some time on Q&A as well.
So
Let's
I'll be
see
quick.
Mohit having one also as well as on the questions.
Done. I'll be quick here. So after this call, I think you all should receive a bunch of skills. What are skills essentially? It's just tasks that you do every day, just written in a structured manner, and so that you don't have to prompt the AI again and again. For example, some of you were asking about SEO, or you were asking about inventory management, right? So here there are like bunch of skills, like around 40 or 60 odd skills over here, which have set of instructions. Let's just say we pick this one up, SEO metadata audit. Here it has bunch of instructions about what to do, how to do, what things to look at, and the safety part as well, that it is not going to update anything on your store. It is just going to read it. So what you do is you just go ahead and click on this button. You paste it here and hit enter, and it will walk you through the steps so that you can have all of the skills attached to your AI. What this does is it makes your life easy. If you want to do, let's say, SEO audit on your store, you don't have to instruct it that find the titles, find the descriptions, then check if it is at par with my other products which are performing well. All of this is pre-written as a part of a skill. So once your AI has access to all of this, you should just be able to ask it to audit for your particular product, and it will do that same thing in a structured manner again and again for you, without having to do all of this again and again. So here again, like as soon as I asked it to do that, it went ahead, added all the skills, and it's now ready. So to do a quick small demo, what I'll do is I'll give it this product again, and I'll ask it to run an SEO audit on this. So now with this skill over here, it has a bunch of instructions which are written for the specific task and the best way that they could be done via Claude. And now Claude will be able to do that for you and give you best results. So I'm running this for one product. You can run this for your entire store. And at the end of it, you might have a report, an SEO audit, where you'll know what's wrong, what's good, and what you can do better to improve your SEO. So if you see, it is done with the audit, and it gave me a few action items. Now, there are some critical fixes, there are some medium fixes, good fixes. You can go through them. You can ask Claude to fix it, or you can do it yourself on the store. So it also gives you suggestions at the end. What are the quick things that it can do for you? If you want, we can just go ahead and say, yes, apply all fine. If I want, I could have just said, okay, just change the meta title and leave the rest of it for me. But it is as easy as that. I just ask it to do all of this. And now with every step, it will ask me definitely for permissions. So it does not do something what I don't want it to. But at the same time, it is going to fix those things for me. I think that's the last part of it. We can take questions from people, and we are, I think, also on time.
Oh, that was a lot to go through in one session, team. Uh, Thank you for having as many people that have stayed back. The drop off was minuscule, which is incredible. Like all of us seem to be excited by what's possible, a little frightened by how technical it is, I suppose. But I think there is a lot that is potentially uh, like unlocked in terms of capabilities that a store can be now. Effectively, the one thing that I want all of us to take out from this conversation is stores are now infinitely programmable. And in a world where we can infinitely program a store, we can infinitely personalize a store for our customers. Look, every time in e-commerce we have promised personalization, it's been kind of a lie. It's segmentation at best. But this is really for the first time we can think of a store where the set of sneakers that you're looking at look different for me, to you, to someone else. The visuals, the text, the layout of the page, the additional information that is present, a virtual try-on button in case it is needed for that customer, amongst many other interesting use cases that can pop by. Why would these use cases pop up today? Is because the store has intrinsically become a piece of code for everything that is out there. The toolkit is just a starting point for this. I don't want you to be like worried about the technical difficulties of it. If anything, we wish to have across the team of experts here at ShopOS, like set you up with the best agents, connect your AI toolkit to your Claude code, anything that it takes in order to get you started on this journey. If you've got Codex, happy to connect your AI toolkit to Codex and show you how skills and commands can be used and done, as well as build you a custom workflow or custom workspace, which is completely free. We just want to have the most interesting conversations because we've loved it over the 60 brands we've spoken to so far, as well as find a way in order to get as many Shopify brands AI native. Because, like I said, having sold my company to Walmart in the past, the one thing I can tell you is commerce looks nothing over the next 2 years like what it did over the last 20 years. That is largely in turn where we're at. You should have a calendar link that is present to you. So if you've got questions, you want a new skill that is built out, a new space, or just set your team up with a bunch of agents that are useful, or just get your AI toolkit connected to your coding agent, we're here to help and very excited to potentially see where these workshops, as well as the possibilities on AI, can go from here. I'll take a pause. Would love to answer any questions or anything that pops up, both technical and non technical. And the floor is open.
If anyone has any question, please feel free to write them down on the chat box and Sai will answer them for you.
Lois is asking if a Claude code or a Codex subscription is required, or is that a must? Ideally, a coding agent is a great starting point. This could be any coding agent that's out there. There are some that are free, but at the same point of time, we are more than happy to set you up with the first month of Claude as a subscription from our side, just in order to help you get started. This is completely on the house. Our core goal is for you to tinker, play around with it, see if you're able to find value from the same. It could be a little technical, a little inundating, but once you get the hang of it, I do think that it's quite fun. Yep, Codex is included onto the GPT Plus subscription, so that is a perfectly good starting point as well. Jagadish asks if ShopOS does succeed, what workflows inside a D2C team would disappear? That's an awesome question. Jagadish, as much as every D2C founder that I've spoken to, it's funny that the most successful D2C brands that I have seen across USA as well as the APAC side have founders that spend 80% of their time on one thing: content. The best way to make the best content reach your audience in a way that connects with them. Yet, The worst performing cohort of the D2C founders are the busiest ones, and they spend so much more time on the busy work of AI or of like coordination. So on the coordination part is where I think a lot of the ShopOS areas are going to take over. The ops around the content, A/B testing the content at any point of time, learning from your audience on what content works versus what does not, and doubling down on what works. Presenting all of that content across your marketplaces, your ads, your emails, your WhatsApp retargeting, everything that you would look at as in terms of monotony in a brand completely goes away from D2C. What you then get more time on is to just spend ideating on how do I connect with the customer better. If everything else is taken care of for me, my Shopify store, the content ops, listing my products, optimizing my products, and presenting them in the most optimal way in delivering them across a Shopify site in this case, a marketplace in some other cases, or even through unique URLs or microsites and games that you're able to present or quickly vibe code. Some brands are actually vibe coding entire games and presenting it out to their customers as loot boxes that you end up winning discounts for products on. It's becoming very interesting there. On that note, again, I do want to thank every single one of you for joining more than anything else. And we did have a little bit of a surprise here. We have actually three. The first part is we're happy to set you up with, like I said, a space, a microsite, agents, workflows, anything that you would want to get your journey started. But as you get this journey started, we understand you might also require a Claude subscription with it. So your first month of Claude, if you have not gotten started using Claude or ChatGPT just yet, is completely on us. And more than happy to set you up with this in order to get you going, because it's almost addictive once you start using this and trying this out. And part three is as soon as you start using these, you will realize, hey, I want a skill. I want to automate a lot of my life. What can I do to get deeper into the ecosystem here? So we'd set you up with as many expert onboarding calls as it needs from now till the next workshop, so that if you do have something that's very specific to your brand or a pain that you do believe that can be automated by AI, I'll have an expert sitting across with you technically to build that out for you, either as like a piece of software or a specific skill that you can use with Claude in itself. So three things that you can leverage from today's conversation: custom build outs, your Claude subscriptions on us. You want to have just a technical conversation with us, super happy to get you started. I love the number of questions that are popping in. Will there be another session like this one? Absolutely. In fact, the next sessions will get a lot more interactive with respect to media. We'd show you how to automatically generate 10,000 videos for a product, or like take 10,000 products and make them into like a bunch of individual images that make the most sense, resize them, automatically upload them onto Shopify. We've planned more than a dozen workshops at this point of time, individually looking at every role in the company. So if you're running a brand, you've got a design team, there'll be a workshop for that. A content team, there's a workshop for that. Your email marketing and your copywriting side, there's a workshop for that. Super happy to set up a regular cadence on this. If you did like this one, please let us know so that we are able to put in as much, if not more, efforts in terms of ensuring that we give you handouts, materials, skills, spaces, a product, and hopefully a lot of value in terms of making this useful for your individual brands and products.
I believe that's the end of the Q&A round. We have set up the email for you. We put the email down for you. If you would like to attend our next workshop, please feel free to send us an email and we'll add you to the guest list. Thank you for this session, Sai and Adarsh. Looking forward to the next exciting session with you guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kriti, and thanks everyone again. Very excited for the next ones. Take care. Have an awesome one. Bye.